Hey, this is Jackie, and today I'm going to go over 5 things that I've learned while being on the twin flame journey. And I can say personally that it has been a roller coaster of an experience, to say the least. Highs and lows like I have never experienced before in my life. So I started going through this about almost 2 years ago, and I have hopefully gotten myself off the ride now. But I want to, today go over the 5 things that I've learned. And in some of my other videos, I might go over some details about what I've been through in the last couple of years. But anyway, so, when I had learned about twin flames, which hasn't been that long ago, probably, I think I started researching that stuff maybe around 2 years ago. I might have heard the term thrown around before then, but I never really cared. I never really knew what it was. I don't know. I think I just figured that some of these people that talked about twin flames online in these classes that they were offering, they were just looking for money, and they made this term up, things like that. And, whether you subscribe to the twin flame idea, some people call them divine counterparts. I don't know if they're exactly the same or different. I'm not sure. I do know that they're definitely different from a soulmate. So anyway, but I, like I said, did not know that what a twin flame was, that I would meet one until I met my twin flame about 2 years ago, or who I thought was my twin flame. So 5 things that I've learned. I'm going to go over that with you, just to give you a little heads up from what I've learned. So I know I've heard that, this is number 1. I've heard that a lot of people have said online, and I've read too on different posts and things like that people have posted, that the twin flame journey is more so for your own personal growth and healing, and not necessarily for union. And I would agree with that. I do know, and I've read that there are certain people that are able to come together and be together, and it's awesome or not or whatever, but it's not necessarily meant for that. It's meant more for like learning and growing and healing from past traumas and wounds and things like that. It's meant to shed a light on what you need to work on internally, and emotionally, mentally, all those things. So since I met mine, who I thought was, I have done a lot of healing work, childhood wounds, all sorts of things that were traumas for me. And I can tell you for a fact that there is definitely a difference between being unhealed and healed. So I feel so much better emotionally and mentally since doing this. And I just feel my vibration raising. So, and I know that, unfortunately, there are people in my life that have seen me undergo this process. They did not know what was happening to me because I never told anyone, but I can tell that they have seen a change in me. I don't know if people really like it or not. And honestly, I don't really think that's for any of us to really care about. You can't really care about what people think of you. You have to be proud of who you are yourself and be authentic and true to yourself, which is why I made it a point to heal myself. And that's also why I'm here online to let you all know what I've been through, so that maybe it'll help. Even if it helps like 1 or 2 people, I would be happy with that. So that's number 1. Number 2, a lot of people think that, like I said, that they have to be in union, and you don't. But to be in union with your quote unquote twin flame, you do have to heal. It's just not going to work if either party hasn't healed. So, and I can tell you for a fact that, since I've healed, I know that my counterpart has not. And there is such a difference. So there is no way that a healthy relationship can be built if one person is healed and one is not. So that brings me to number 3. The third thing that I've learned is that healed people heal people, hurt people hurt people. And I kind of got that from a favorite person that I watch online. You know who you are. But, you can't manifest a healthy relationship if you're not healed and not coming from a healed place. Because if you have all those traumas and things like that, those are the things that cause codependency, acting, in narcissistic ways, even if you don't really feel like you are a narcissist, if you have tendencies or, have those behaviors, things like that can happen. And then, just all sorts of, toxic type things that happen, in relationships, runner chaser dynamic, all sorts of things like that. So you have to manifest a healed relationship and a healthy relationship, both parties really have to be healed. Number 4 is that it is really easy to get caught up, if you're in this kind of journey, caught up in the runner-chaser dynamic. I have never been that way before, and I felt like I had to prove myself and go along with the quote-unquote mind games that the other person was playing with me. And I knew exactly what was happening the whole time. But I was like, no, they'll change, once they figure it out, or, I'll prove it to them, that, they don't need to run anymore, and that, this is what we need and whatever. And yeah, I figured out what was going on after a certain amount of time, and I stopped that in its tracks. So, I've never, I'm an Aquarius. I've never been a chaser. I don't know any Aquarius that is. We're pretty independent people, but, anyway, so I found myself doing that, for basically the first time in my life. And, I can be honest with you, I will never do that again. I will never allow myself to do that again, because I am coming from a healed place. So I am a lot more confident. I've always been a confident person, but even more so now. So, and then, if the more you can try to focus on yourself and working on yourself, making yourself a better person internally, loving yourself, giving yourself the freedom and the leeway to, make mistakes and love yourself anyway, love your shadow sides, things like that, all of those things will help you heal. And then, number 5 is that if you're a twin or divine counterpart, whatever you want to call them, denies their healing, but you don't, which that happened in my case, don't try not to take it personally. I think I did, and it's not a good feeling. So, and I know it's easier said than done, but it really has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you, because it really is just about you. It's not really about them or about the two of you. It's about you. So the more you can just focus on yourself, the better off you'll be. And that, a lot of times these people that you're dealing with, whoever it is that you think is your twin flame or your divine counterpart, they probably have childhood wounds as well. And a lot of people just aren't ready to address those. They're scared. They're in denial, whatever the case. That's the way they've lived their whole life, things like that. And I can tell you honestly, once you start addressing these things and you heal from them, you feel so much better. But, in like addition to that, kind of, copying off of that or adding on to that, I have also learned that rejection is a form of protection. And I've heard that quote also from many different people. And, I kind of was like, oh, okay. But it actually is true. Because whenever you're rejected, the universe is actually protecting you for whatever reason. It's either not the right time, not the right person, or what. You might be learning a lesson. I'm not sure. It depends on the situation, I'm sure. It could be all of the above. But rejection don't take it personally. Again, it's not about you. So, it just wasn't meant to be, and it's a form of protection for you. And so if you look at it that way, that kind of helps too a little bit. But the thing about healing, if you don't heal, you tend to project some of these wounds onto other people, and it can sometimes affect your relationships with others, whether it's romantic, platonic, family relationships. It can be anything. You wind up projecting sometimes these wounds and the feelings that you have that are related to them onto others. Sometimes you can blame others, blame society, be stuck in negative patterns or cycles, things like that, which can be really, really unhealthy and toxic. And you have to really think to yourself, like, where is this insecurity or pain coming from? You can't really avoid the discomfort. It's easy to avoid the discomfort. It's easy to start drinking, doing drugs, taking pills, all sorts of things. Whatever your vice is, working too much or whatever, sleeping too much. It could be anything. Anything you're using to avoid the confrontation with these wounds. It's just going to prolong things in your life. It's going to cause more anxieties. It's going to cause more issues for you in your relationships and in your life. And I can tell you for a fact, stress is a very huge factor for illness and disease. So I've seen a lot of people with stress being their only risk factor that have had lots of health issues. So I am glad that I personally have found peace and my health, and I'm able to heal from all of these wounds that I've had. I mean, healing is an ongoing journey, so I'm still healing. I feel that I always will, but we always have lessons. We always have healing to do, and we should all, strive to be, better people and internally, and just try to be the best that you can. And, we're here to help each other. So that's why I'm here. And this is just one of those videos that I hopefully people will watch and maybe get some insight and some ideas. And, please consider subscribing and commenting below. If you have any questions, let me know. My email is also in the description box below. And I'd love to hear from you. And so I look forward to putting out some new videos to let you know details about my journey itself. Okay? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.